The Galactic Coalition had seen many strange things in its 3,000-year history. They had witnessed the formation of binary star systems, negotiated peace treaties between species who communicated through bioluminescence, and once documented a planet where gravity reversed itself every 17 hours. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared them for humanity's most baffling characteristic: their insistence on teaching predator species how to do laundry. Tessa Ward stood in the wreckage of what used to be the Coalition Forward Base Epsilon's laundry facility, her hands on her hips, surveying the chaos with the practiced calm of someone who had survived 3 tours in deep space and once talked down a Vrexian war chief, using only a bottle of hot sauce and sheer audacity. "Kerr," she said, her voice carrying that particular tone that humans reserved for moments when screaming would be counterproductive. "Would you like to explain to me why Commander Jarrah's dress uniform is currently hanging from the communications array?" The Ctharian cub, all 4 feet of striped orange fur, retractable claws, and oversized ears that drooped with what might have been shame, looked up at her with eyes the size of dinner plates. His species had evolved from apex predators on a death world where the plants could eat you and the weather had moods. Adult Ctharians stood 7 feet tall, could tear through reinforced steel with their bare hands, and had once held off an entire fleet of raiders using nothing but primitive weapons and tactical brilliance. Kerr, however, was 8 standard years old and currently covered in soap bubbles. "We almost did it right," he insisted, his translator chip rendering his chittering speech into accented standard. His tail swished nervously, knocking over a bottle of detergent that Tessa caught without looking. 3 months of teaching Therian cubs had given her reflexes that would make a combat pilot jealous. "Almost," Tessa repeated flatly. She gestured at the scene before them. The industrial washers were still running, but instead of clothes, they appeared to be churning what looked like foam party foam. The dryers were playing a symphony of thumps and bangs that suggested someone had put boots in them. All the boots, every single boot on the base, and the socks. Oh, the socks. They were everywhere, hanging from light fixtures, stuffed into ventilation grates. One particularly ambitious sock had somehow made it into the mess hall, where it was currently being investigated by the night shift security officer as a potential biohazard. "Kerr, where are the socks' matching pairs?" Tessa asked, though she already dreaded the answer. The cub's ears perked up with pride. "We sorted them, by color, and texture, and smell." "By smell?" "Yes, the left foot socks smell different from the right foot socks. We organized them into separate piles. Very efficient." Kerr beamed at her, his small fangs showing in what his species considered a smile. Behind him, 3 other cubs, Mira, Kekish, and Little Var, nodded enthusiastically, their tails wagging in sync. Tessa closed her eyes and counted to 10, then to 20. Then she gave up and counted to 100 in binary because someone had once told her it was more calming. It wasn't. The other species in the coalition had warned her, of course. The Xanthari diplomats, with their crystalline logic matrices, had presented her with a 47-page report on why humans should not be allowed to interact with predator species younglings unsupervised. The Quillix ambassadors, known for their careful risk assessment, had simply marked the whole arrangement as certain disaster and refused to elaborate. But humans, as they always did, had looked at the baby apex predators and said, "Sure, we can teach them life skills. How hard can it be?" Tessa had volunteered because someone needed to, and because the Ctharian High Command had made it clear that their cubs needed to learn soft skills before they entered military training. The coalition was trying to move past its warrior culture, they'd said. They wanted their young to understand cooperation and domestic responsibility, they'd explained. They'd specifically requested a human instructor because humans had something called patience with children that apparently translated across species. What they hadn't mentioned was that Ctharian cubs had the attention span of caffeinated squirrels and the problem-solving approach of someone who believed that if a little was good, then all of it must be better. "Okay," Tessa said, opening her eyes. "Let's walk through this. I showed you how to sort laundry by color and fabric type. What happened?" Kerr straightened up, clearly ready to give a full mission report. "We sorted by color. All the dark clothes went in Machine 1. All the light clothes went in Machine 2. All the colorful clothes went in Machine 3. And all the ones that smelled like humans went in machine 4. That actually sounds right so far. The Mira said we should add the soap, but the measuring cup was too small, so we just dumped in the whole container to save time. Tessa's eye twitched. The whole container. 3 containers, little Var piped up helpfully. 1 for each machine. And when the bubbles started coming out, Keiki shouted, his whiskers twitching with excitement, we thought the machines were overheating, so we added cold water from the emergency coolant tanks. You added coolant to the washing machines, not the coolant, Kerr corrected. The water that cools the coolant. We were very careful. Tessa took a deep breath. This was fine. This was all fine. The base would survive. Probably. And the boots? We read that tumble drying makes clothes soft, Kerr explained. We thought it would make the boots soft too. The humans are always complaining about breaking them in. We wanted to help. The logic was, in its own chaotic way, sound. That was the problem with carrion cubs. They were incredibly intelligent, highly motivated, and had absolutely no concept of moderation. They approached every task with the same intensity their ancestors had used to hunt megafauna across the plains of Tharus Prime. Half the base is wearing one shoe, Tessa said quietly. Do you know why half the base is wearing one shoe, Kerr? The cub's ears drooped. Because we sorted the left shoes from the right shoes for maximum efficiency? Because you sorted, Tessa stopped. She looked at the cubs, all 4 of them staring up at her with a mixture of hope and trepidation. They had tried. In their own catastrophic way, they had genuinely tried to help. This was the thing about humans that the rest of the coalition never quite understood. They didn't just tolerate chaos. They had evolved in it, been forged by it. Human children were agents of entropy who somehow grew into functional adults. Human civilization was built on the principle that if you survived childhood, you could survive anything. And maybe, just maybe, that was exactly what these cubs needed, not perfection. Not rigid protocols. Just someone who understood that learning meant breaking things, and that breaking things was okay as long as you learned how to fix them. Tessa's expression softened. She knelt down, putting herself at eye level with Kerr. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn off all these machines. We're going to collect every single sock, boot, and piece of clothing. And then we're going to do it again, together, the right way. And you're going to help me explain to the commander why his dress uniform is currently a flag. Kerr's ears perked up. We're not in trouble? Oh, you're absolutely in trouble, Tessa said, but she was smiling. But trouble is how you learn. Now, come on. We've got about 300 left shoes to reunite with their partners. As the cubs scrambled to help, chattering excitedly about their new mission, Tessa activated her cum unit. Ward to Commander Chikara. Go ahead, Quartermaster. Sir, you're going to want to see this. Also, you might want to wear your casual uniform today. The dress uniform is... Taking a break. There was a long pause. Ward, why do I hear the cubs singing about socks? Because humans teach through experience, sir. And right now, we're all experiencing a lot. That's what I was afraid of. Another pause. Are they learning? Tessa watched Kerr carefully separate a pile of socks, his tongue sticking out in concentration while Mira read the washing machine instructions with the intensity of someone decoding an enemy transmission. Yes, sir, they're learning. Then carry on, Quartermaster. And Ward? Sir? Next time, maybe start with something simpler. Like reactor maintenance? Tessa laughed despite herself. Acknowledged, sir. As she ended the call, Kerr bounded up to her, holding 2 matching socks triumphantly. Look, these ones go together. I can tell, because they smell like the same feet. And there it was. The galaxy's most dangerous predator species, learning to do laundry one disaster at a time. Humans had walked into the stars with duct tape, stubbornness, and an unshakable belief that anything worth doing was worth doing badly until you figured out how to do it right. Now they were teaching that philosophy to the universe, one chaos-loving cub at a time. The Coalition would survive this, probably. The base's sock inventory, however, might never fully recover.